Hello everyone. I'm going to be doing a reading, just seeing that it's the full moon in Pisces now, and it's also a lunar eclipse, apparently also a supermoon. I'm not sure what a supermoon actually means. I've read it a few times, I keep forgetting. Perhaps we can just settle on it being a super one. Before I continue with this full moon reading, I do want to let you know that I'm taking inquiries for personal readings. You can send me an email or you can just send me a DM on Instagram. I'll leave all the details below in the description box. So what I'm going to do for this reading is ask some questions based on my feeling about what this full moon is about. First, I'm going to clip in an extract from a reading I did yesterday, just on the full moon, and then after that we'll look into what it is that's hidden from you, where we might be holding ourselves back, and perhaps some opportunities and advice. A lunar eclipse is when the Earth's back basically is to the sun. So it's sun, then Earth, and then the moon. And so you replace the position of the Earth, that is you. And obviously now the sun is shining on the periphery or the outline of the moon. You're facing the moon. And so you're facing that which is hidden about yourself. So with the sun behind you, you're able to now see where you've been holding yourself back. It's as if things are hidden from us and we make decisions, we decide that they are being hidden from us rather than accepting that there are areas where we've been our own blind spot. The lunar eclipse is going to highlight all those areas where your mind was playing with you, where you didn't see yourself correctly, or you haven't been seeing yourself correctly, how you have not been able to embrace opportunities appropriately because I want to say their source has been appropriated to the wrong thing. I think that makes sense. And so it's like understanding your position and where you are in the whole play is going to make many more things like just clearer to you about what your role is. So that's also shifting things like where you have felt victimized. You're going to unvictimize yourself by realizing that that was actually an opportunity. And all the things you have not done, you're changing that to things you thought you couldn't do because you were actually always able to do them. But you were putting the credit or the responsibility on something else, whereas you hold the responsibility. And I'm not saying here that you've been bypassing. That's not actually what I'm saying. I'm saying there's been a misunderstanding within you about where you hold power. Just while I shuffle, I want to just say a bit about how at least I've been feeling during this period. I feel like I was cruising for some time, right through August. And then September started, and suddenly I was just back in first gear. And that's the thing, after cruising, being back in first gear actually feels sudden and uncomfortable. But there's a reason for it, one, to slow down, two, to get a grip on things. This was obviously not visible to me immediately, not upfront. And then I found myself in second gear, almost like comfortable, in control, not too, not too bumpy, not uncomfortable, but slow enough to be able to feel where I am, take in my surroundings, take stock, and now slowly find a new rhythm, given that I'm back in control. And I just think there's something to be said about that the slowdowns are not, they don't come up to work against us. If you're a go person, I tend to be. And while my mind thinks I'm in control, my body can feel that I'm not, and my emotions can feel that I'm not. I'm pushing myself, and perhaps not in the right rhythm, and not prioritizing things the right way. And also unable to see myself because I'm moving so fast and because I'm so set on, and actually if you look at it, the productivity levels are not ideal all the time just because you're doing. And it's as if like a reevaluation of everything is so helpful, because I had a chance to organize my life for my mind, not to actually move everything around, but to understand where I am. And I'm finding, with this perspective, I'm finding that things that felt burdensome have been put in their place and don't feel as burdensome. The same thing just doesn't feel the same way. And things that I felt required a lot of energy from me, that I enjoy, but that required a lot of energy from me, just seem to be requiring less energy. So it feels like spring cleaning of the mind. Like I can breathe again, it feels clearer. And everything I need is here. And everything that I don't need, at least I've recognized that I don't need it. And so I don't spend as much mental energy worrying about where it belongs. Because I know where it belongs, it's there, but I have this awareness of where it belongs. And that is in the hierarchy of my life, which helps. It helps so much. So you know that feeling where you kind of, it's imagined, where you find yourself on the way to something and you don't know where you're going, but you know it's going to be good. And you feel like you haven't got all the full directions and full information about what's going to be happening there, but you're already on the way. So it's like the two minds are playing. Here I've got two oracle cards. I've got Traveler, move in a new direction, and I've got Trader, exchange energy to create abundance. And the Celtic crossbred that I've got here speaks to what I said about trying to figure out which direction you're going in, although you're already moving. So it's like there's a balance that needs to be embraced, to not stop everything, but to take it step by step as you move forward, because you are already moving forward. What's crossing you is that this area of your life has left you feeling defeated in the past, and you've just spent this time of slowdown, making a few light decisions, cleaning up, like I mentioned, the spring cleaning, bit of organization, and deciding on a few things that you can make decisions on. I see you no longer fighting your intuition, no longer having arguments with it, but rather gradually allowing its information in and not fighting what it says, because there's been a learning here that where you fought what it's saying, you've been in the way of yourself. What I feel here is, and I don't think this is apparent, is whatever changes you make, it's like you're immediately going to feel the ripple effect of that. You know, this ripple effect thing, it came into my vision about 2 days ago. You know, you drop a stone into water and the ripples go. This was like that, but not. This was like a bomb dropping into an ocean of energy. And as it drops, there's this like light and sound just resonates from it in that same motion, that ripple effect motion. It was quite powerful. And so a part of me does definitely feel that's where we are now. That's where we are now. And I think that's why we needed the slowdown, is the moves you make now will be felt. There's also an openness which I'm feeling, which I couldn't feel before. So it's like something's opened. Spaces that felt tight have loosened. Spaces that have felt one-dimensional, I realize now that that was my mind that was one-dimensional. The situation hasn't actually changed, but it's naturally more receptive because I'm allowing myself more leeway in that space. And so I see you moving here cautiously, honestly, steadily. And the reasons are that you're a different person in this territory, and how you exchange your energy is going to be really important, because there are lessons you've learned around exchanges of energy that have not served you well before. The reasons actually you landed up in first gear. And so I see you benefiting from that shift in mindset, becoming really clear about what makes you happy and what serves you and what's going to lead you in the best direction for now. And just on that, what makes you happy, I feel like for some reason that took a back seat for a while. Like being open to everything means some other energy gets to decide what you do next. And that's that balancing. I brought it up in an audio prior to this balancing between destiny and free will. And it's like the free will has been given a voice to now say what it is it wants. And I believe there, perhaps I really want to say, destiny is there to assist. You're still the human that's got to feel your way through everything. And in your surrounding factors here, I've got, again, it's this feeling the changes based on your own determination, based on your own perspective, and how quickly you're able to arrive at the truth. So for me, this is like manifestation when it's in a really good balance. Because essentially, yes, you're expected to take steps on trust, but each step you take, you'll see and observe and feel its effects. So it doesn't feel like we're in that time anymore where you do something and then way later you see the effects. It's as if, like what I said about the pebble and that big thing that drops into to create this ripple effect. It's like as you drop it, you will feel its effects. And so this can go both ways. But the upside is that you're going to be feeling your way and learning your new body. It's like you're learning your new body. It's like you've actually got a new body. You know, I'm not talking about like physical body. It's as if there's been some kind of upgrade and you've got new tools. And you're basically learning how to use them. Like imagine your personality was inserted into like a robotic like thing. You kind of learning how all your parts work and how to move and getting comfortable in this new body, which actually tells me that things are going to get so much easier because, you know, just like a child, they stick their little finger close to a flame or onto it and they burn. Immediately they know, okay, don't stick your finger on that flame. Rather than what it used to feel like where you stick your finger on the flame and you don't feel it immediately. It takes and then 3 months later, your finger starts burning and you're like, it's that, isn't it? So I feel like things are just gonna move faster, but as if like it's our actions that are gonna determine how quickly we learn, how quickly we bounce back, and how quickly we feel into what needs to happen next. Another thing I'm seeing here is that there has been an acceptance of the healer within you. And what I mean by that is, sometimes there's this feeling that one must be completely healed before they do whatever they want to do. And I know we all know the truth of the healing never stops, but there's always this tension still around, when do I just start now? When do I start actively living? But what's interesting here is that, so we know all these are all true, these things. But now there's this new perspective of self where self is allowed to continue healing while self heals. So it's like, it is that feeling your way through, recognizing your healing nature, that becomes your vehicle as you move through, rather than a villain that slows you down. And as far as your creativity is concerned, what the outcome here looks like to me is also that you are now the decider of what failure and success mean. You're the decider. That's actually no longer up to anyone else. And so once you have produced something, done something, said something, the view, the opinion on how that went is going to be yours and not based on feedback. And now we're looking at where you're holding yourself back. Okay, so I'm seeing this reading in front of me, but I'm already seeing a change. Where you've been holding yourself back, and this is what the cards say, is that you're not using your intuition. And so you have the intuition, but because of past disappointments, you're still carrying them like a medal. You're not acting on your intuition. Even with small things, you're not using it. You should be using it with small things and with big things. Wherever you start, you'll be able to see its effects. It has a lot to offer you. But what's happened is that you've been cocooning in this non-movement state, receiving all this information and not using it because you're afraid. The fear of failure is what I'm seeing here. And there's something inside of you that's telling you how powerful you are, how perfect you are, how strong you are, and how able you are. There's that. It's also your intuition. It's telling you, but you've been holding yourself back. And actually, I'm seeing as well that holding back is not easy for you. So you've created quite a tension with yourself. But what's good here is that I see you moving into a space where you, this is, okay, in your advice, I see you, I'm told, make a decision on where to start. Choose one of your things of value and express it. And I see that in your outcome in the near future. Actually, I see you using your expression to share something from your heart. And the word I want to use here is an offering. So whatever it is you have to offer, to start with it. And I see the movement there, which is amazing. And in your outcome, and this is something you're passionate about. This is something that's open to exploration. And I think that's something you were worried about before, that if you start something, you're committing to like the long haul with it. And that's not the case. The case is that you live in the present. And so you express in the present, and you explore in the present, and you enjoy in the present. There's no overcommitting and nothing like. Sometimes it is like that for some people, but if you, and it goes back to what I said about accepting the healer within yourself. If you're learning as you go, then we're all learning as we go. That is that, and that has value. That has value. In your outcome, I have the 10 of Wands and the 10 of Swords, which for me is like complete acceptance that you're fed up with yourself. This is a good thing, because sometimes what keeps us like tightened and fastened and moving at a pace that's too gradual to make it feel satisfying to us. We move so slowly that we don't see the progress we want to see. And so this is where I see you fed up with yourself, like enough is enough. It's enough of this. And it's okay that I feel like this, but it's enough now. Because I think that's what stops us, is not wanting to reach that stage where we say it's enough. And I'm also getting here that you're not the only one. You'd be surprised how many people are working as they heal, as they go. And you're actually also going to enjoy the community of knowing that. And I don't know what community means right now, but you're going to enjoy that. The oracle card that I have here says Elder, move beyond ancestral patterns. And this speaks to what I said when I started this portion of the reading, that you've been wearing the struggle of yours like a medal. And I don't mean to be harsh, I'm just giving it the way it is. There are things that have come before you that you're doing out of habit. You know, ancestral patterns are things that have just been, they're like in us genetically, they're in us behaviorally, they're just in us. But this is the point of healing, is to undo those things if they no longer serve us. And if they did not serve those that came before you, you have their support energetically, spiritually, you have their support in undoing it, because you do it for yourself, you do it for everyone. You essentially do it for everyone. And not just blood ancestors here. I'm saying the spirit team is always willing to accept anyone who's willing to receive their help. And so you're supported. But these are not things you're meant to cling on to. They're not things you're meant to cling on to. And it's not to say you are betraying anything either. That's the mind. That's the mind playing on you to keep you comfortable and in the same zone. But these things that you've grasped, that you're still holding on to them, as if there's a fear that if you let go of these things, then who does that make you in your surroundings? Well, let that be revealed, because it's an improvement from where you are now. It will be an improvement because it's something you're healing. And when we make space, when we shed things and we make space, we allow all these blessings in. So don't cling on to these things. And perhaps you didn't see it as clinging, but this is let me try frame this slightly differently. You know, I'm going to try and frame it in terms of how I see this playing out in my own life, is a fear of being different, a fear of improving, because I don't know who the new person is. The new version of me, I have not met them, and so I'm afraid of that version of me. Because I'm afraid of the things that version of me will be expected to do, what will be expected of them. They'll be so amazing. I'm kidding. I just mean, it is scary. Improvement is actually scary. But it doesn't serve us. That fear doesn't serve us. And this other card says, Lady, enjoy growth and reap rewards. You know, apples, especially when they're like fresh from a tree, it represents abundance to me. And this is perfect, because this lunar eclipse, this full moon, is, the Native Americans consider it the harvest moon. That's what they call it, apparently. And this is a time of harvest. So it's like all these seeds you planted, everything has actually grown, okay? The tree might be behind you, whatever, but if you turn around, you can actually pick one of those apples, cut it in half, and show, well, this is my best apple. Can you not see how juicy it is? How long I've grown it for? Would you like some? It's sometimes not that complicated. I personally feel like this has been overcomplicated. this idea that, you know, this just everything I've just said. And so I think this is a very healing time we're moving in, where whatever you do will have a message that returns to you. And something I'm hearing now is that it was always you. You were always the spirit in the body. And I'm feeling this because there have been a lot of questions that have come through my mind and my heart over the last period, where, you know, we consider this whole thing around monitoring spirits and negative energies and spiritual attacks, which and I have not had peace on this topic, but I feel like I finally arrived at a peace about it. It was always you. You know, the spirit is in the body. The body feels separate. The body, I'm saying the body feels separate because in essence it cannot be separate if I can feel your body. If I can feel something that's happening in your body, perhaps my eyes deceive me. And the spirit as well, we share a spirit. We share a spirit, and so if something that feels negative enters my field, essentially I'm responsible for my understanding and my awareness around it. But it's not me and then you and then them. It's not. My awareness says this has become a part of me. It is a part of me. If it is in my awareness, it is a part of me, and I must do something about it. I must at least accept it, try to understand it, dismiss it. However, it is not theirs, it is not yours, it is mine. And for as long as I deny it, the longer it actually gets to sit there and disturb me. It was always you. Okay, so in terms of opportunities and advice, I decided to split this into opportunities, challenges, and advice. The opportunity you have here is to share something, is to set things right for yourself, in your favor, by uncloaking and allowing some more of these options that you've been sitting on to assist you in making things right for yourself. Your challenge, you see this as an obstacle, is that you can't quite figure out you can't figure out where you're going, you can't figure out who you're speaking to, you can't figure out who will receive it and how they'll receive it. And what I'm told here is that that's not your worry. Your worry, your advice here, is to express yourself. This has been consistent throughout the reading. It's to follow your intuition because you know it works. You know your intuition works. And to not follow fear, follow vision. The cards are very plain here in front of me. I'm actually going to label them just so you can see how clearly this has been set out for me. And I've laid another layer of the spread over this just to, I felt like I needed to show you something. You know, I'm showing you these cards because lately I have felt more called to kind of show you how I do my spreads. There are various ways. This specific one is something I just adapted now based on my intention and the outcome that I wanted, the kind of information that I wanted. And that's what you can do with cards. I also find cards they're really empowering, especially when we speak about slowing down and not wounding our ability to use our intuition. Yesterday I said something about wounding intuition, and I realized in hindsight it was incorrect to say that, because the intuition is not wounded. It is how we receive it, how we use it, and how we interact with it and behave with it. That can be wounded. And so making decisions, taking decisions and taking action which we feel we could have moved more cautiously on can wound that. And that's where I see cards as really having helped me in my life. They help me understand my thoughts. They help me understand where I'm healing. They help me understand my limitations. And cards do not tell you everything. From the way I see it, unless you set that specifically as your intention, and also recognizing free will is at play, and so anything can happen after you've finished reading. Unless you set the intention to read into the future, which honestly I have no interest in. I personally have no interest in the future because I'm not in the future, I'm here. Then cards don't reveal the future. They reveal where you are now, and they help you work with where you are now and build an awareness with yourself. That's why I really love cards. And if you look at the top row, that's where we looked at opportunity. And here, that's where it's speaking to where you've been moving really slowly with yourself. And you have the opportunity to set things right in a way that's really going to benefit you and you're going to be happy with. And you're going to see the opportunity and all the options you've been smuggling, because essentially that's what this guy is doing, holding all his pentacles back. He's moving super slowly, but he's smuggling all his options that he's got available to him. And then in your challenge, in terms of, how others will receive what you have to offer, this expression, this offering of yours, they're saying here that this is the nature of manifestation. And that your perspective will only be shifted once you take action. And that it's the action, it's what we said earlier, it's that the action is what's going to reveal all of this. So that's the nature of manifestation. Time reveals, action reveals. And not always action as such, but here I really feel here, because we've been held back, yes, we're magnets, our hearts are magnets, we're attracting, yes, I get that. But where you've been holding something back, there is no person that's going to come inside you, open your heart, extract what's in there, open your mouth, send your voice through. There are certain things that you have to do. The manifestation basically brings it to you in a tray. If you take what's on that tray and you hide it under your clothes and you hide it in your pockets, nothing will happen with it. But it's there. It was always there, and it was always you holding it back. And it's here as well in the advice. The Four of Pentacles has showed up again. On the communication card, fast-moving communication. This is where that you're being told to use your expression. Where you've been in two minds. I love this. The King of Rods over the Two of Wands. That's the King of Wands over the Two of Wands over the King of Wands. So that is where you've been waiting, holding back, not making decisions, not taking action, but visualizing. They're saying follow that. And they're also saying very directly here, where there's the Nine of Swords, which is the fear card, where you've let fear stifle you and you're tied up in fear. That fear has an abundance of opportunities. That's what the Seven of Cups represents. All these opportunities, all these options. Fear will never stop presenting you with iterations and possibilities that continue to feed the cycle of fear. It's the nature of fear. And so they're saying that which you've been holding back from expressing, that you already know you have, that you're sitting on, express it. It's like, please. And this is what we're doing. Out of love, we're coming forward, offering what we do have, that is precious to us, but that we know is precious, so precious it cannot be held back. And healing our relationship with our intuition. Walking away from the body that is too afraid to use its intuition because of past, inverted commas, mistakes. I just pulled some Moonology cards, well, one so far, and it agrees with me. It says, communication is key. New moon in Gemini. Gemini, to me, is like those two minds, those two perspectives, those two ways of seeing things. And it's not only limited to two, but the two does point to choice. And this is choosing creating an intention to choose how you're going to see things. And it says here, communication is key. This is about expressing yourself. This is about taking the choice to express yourself based on this shift in perspective. You have pivoted. I think I spoke about pivoting earlier this week. You have pivoted. And so now you're empowered because you're able to observe yourself from an improved vantage point. And something made me want to look up the word vantage. Well, vantage point. It says vantage, a place or position affording a good view of something. You see, this goes back to what I said earlier, that it was always you. It was always your view of something. You'll see on this card, it's like the one lady's eyes are closed, the other one's eyes are open, and she actually looks like, whoa, is this what it was the whole time? And that is the case. But the intention does need to be set. And vantage, this is the advantage that you hold. This is your advantage. This is your advantage. And I want these words to land on you and feel empowering. This is your advantage. It was always you. And that's helped me actually title this video. I'm going to say, choosing to see life and opportunity from an improved vantage point. You are at an advantage. It was always you. And while I'm shuffling here, I feel called to just emphasize that this is a harvest moon. And when we think of harvest, we don't always look at it this way, but what I'm seeing is taking your hand and picking from this tree of fruits that you've been growing over time. And I do feel like I'm repeating myself, but what I wanted to emphasize here is that you have everything you need. You have everything you need. I have a friend who, she works with sound bowls, sound healing bowls. And she's been doing this for quite some time, and I absolutely love her work. And I don't know if she's listening, but the other day we were talking about how to improve expression, and I said to her, get a mic for your sound healing sessions. And I said this because she felt like she wanted to do something over this lunar eclipse. She felt called to do something. And, you know, she said, yeah, I'm saving up for a mic or whatever. And I said, you know, you already have everything you need. And so if you look online and the mic that you're looking at is going to take you 3 months to get, it's not your mic. Get whatever you can now that's within your power, that you can do now. Because if you feel called to do something now, please don't make other things, other factors, the obstacle of you doing this thing now. And I think that's what I mean by you already have everything you need. I remember the day I bought my mic. And if I had not applied this, I wouldn't have this mic. I wouldn't. And so I would not have felt what it feels like to get the mic and then look back and think, wow, I got it at just the right time. You know, there's so many things that we need to just do and not question forever. And the last card I have here says, your hard work is paying off. New moon in Capricorn. And this goat is just telling me the greatest of all time. That's what it's saying to me. There will be no better version of you than you. You are the producer of that version, that best version, the greatest you of all time. You are it. And with that, I'm sending you so much love. Happy lunar eclipse, full moon in Pisces. May your full potential be revealed to you.